Shalom. Call Halam La Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai Bahashem Haracha'a Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught us this truth and sincerity. They steered us well and they rule well. Salutations to the hopeful elect. May the blessing of election be upon your house. This is the brother Zion Amawan coming at you with another lesson. To feed the lambs through the Holy Spirit. Haracha'a Kodash. Lord willing, this lesson is edifying. And in this lesson, we are going to get into sedition. All right, sedition. Okay, and Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, is speaking off the page. All right. Now I got Second Ezra 15 from the top. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy. All right, and prophecy is speaking off of the page. All right. You know why these scriptures are written. All right. You know, there is multiple scriptures going on at the same time. And one of these prophecies is sedition, uproars, the rising of the people. Okay. Let's get that. Sedition means it is a mid-14th century word which means rebellion, uprising, revolt, factitious commotion in the state, concerted attempt to overthrow civil authority, violent strife between factions, civil or religious order, riot, rebelliousness against authority. All right. So this civil disorder, all right, is going on as we speak, you know, and the scriptures go into it, you know. Second Ezra 15 and 16, for there shall be sedition among men, you know, and that's what you're seeing. The scriptures say nation shall rise against nation, kingdom against kingdom, you know. So you're going to have race wars. All right. You're going to have uproars of the people. They're going to not regard the local and government officials. They're going to put the law in their own hand. All right. As you can see from these protests, people are very irate because of the whole ICE thing. All right. And there's more Edomites than actual Jake out there. All right, so-called protesting, you know, it's more Edomites that's doing it, you know, because as you can see from the video, it was basically nothing but Edomites and maybe a spackle of Jake, you know. All right, but people was feeling the squeeze. All right. Everything is high. Things cost too much. All right. And the packaging stays the same, but the price goes up. All right. People isn't just not making enough on the job. All right. Cost of living went up. All right. As you can see, gas is rising. You know, this entire financial infrastructure, all right, is ending. It's shutting down and it's going to go digital, you know, and the masses of the people have no clue. They don't have no answers, you know, so they're just going to riot and tear up stuff. All right. Because you're going to have more of this. All right. It just doesn't end here. You know, so this sedition is going to get more and more strenuous to the point where they're going to have to do a national state of emergency and do a martial law. All right. And when that so-called martial law is enacted, all right, there's going to be a slew of executive orders that is going to follow along with this martial law. Okay. For there shall be sedition among men, invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. Right. First one draw, lay the law. You know, whoever has the gun first, drawn first. Okay. They're going to have their own rules, their own regulations. All right? It's going to be the law of the land, however that person may see fit. You know? They're not going to listen to the rules and regulations of the local and government officials. It's going to be complete anarchy, man, to the point where they're going to have to pull the plug on this thing and just completely do martial law and just shut everything down. And that leads to verse 17. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. All right? So when this sedition gets to a level to the point where it's going to be martial law, it's going to be what? That famine of the word. It's going to lead to the famine of the word. Because you really think that the true men of the Lord is going to be out teaching on the highways and hedges in the middle of all hell breaking loose and in the middle of martial law? You out of your damn mind, man. And in those days, people are really going to want answers. People are already trying to seek the answers now. And you have that extended hand from Yahweh Shema Shah to get the word, you know. But, you know what I'm saying? But, you know what I'm saying? For the vast majority, they're going to be left wanting. They're going to be perplexed, and they're not going to have the answers, you know. Matter of fact, we'll just close out with this, because it's just something to harp on. You know, this is just something to meditate. I have Amos chapter 8 and verse 11. It reads, Behold, the days come, saith the Lord power, that I will send a famine in the land, not a famine of bread, nor a thirst for water, but of hearing the words of Yahweh Yahweh Shai. You hear that? Okay, it ain't going to be just a famine of food and water. It's going to be of that spiritual food and water, man. You know? All right? You're not going to get fed. Because, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Because the grace period will technically be over with. You know? Once the prophets is off the streets teaching, the grace period is over with. You know? Jacob's trouble has officially begun. And it's important that we go into Jacob's trouble with that momentum, you know, of the faith. All right, standing 10 toes down, standing stiffly for Yahweh B'Shem Awashah, you know, offending less. You know what we need to do? Examine ourselves, so on. All right. But for the vast majority, they're not even measuring out the times to the point where they don't even know what time they living in, man. You know, they think everything is honky-dory and nothing's going to happen. You guys been saying this for years. But you're going to see very soon that Yahweh Shema Shai is going to pull the plug on Babylon the Great. All right. And he's going to first do it by removing the word, removing that extended hand. OK, and then he's going to extend a hand of judgment. You know, right now it's a hand of grace, but that hand is being, transitioned to the hand of judgment on this place, you know. That's why it's important that we stay in the secret place of Yahweh Shai, you know. But Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. I want to give infinite honors, praises, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the elect. We on the next one. Abaratazah. Shalom.